All right, this session of Parliament is officially ending. It is the last one with the power balance as it is now. This week was the final shot for the Liberal government to pass through any bills before their majority becomes tested in October's federal election. Laura Stone from the Globe and Mail is with us this morning. And a reminder to everybody that in September is possibly when the writ will be dropped, which means the House can't come back and sit in the fall because they'll be campaigning. Then we'll have the new government come October. So, yeah, this is the last shot.
This is it. Not unless the Liberal government decides to bring the House back, and we can talk about that, possibly to ratify the new trade deals. It's a possibility.
Don't get used to everybody in these new seats that
exactly.
sitting in. All right. Any bills that are still withstanding haven't gone through yet? Which ones have died?
Well, there was an external review board for the Canadian Border Services Agency. That one won't be passing before the new government. A bill that would bring Indigenous rights into the new citizenship oath, for instance. That was recently introduced, so that obviously did not make it through. So these some of the private members' bills as well. One of them that died at the Senate was a promise to bring Canadian laws into line with the United Nations Declarations of Indigenous People. That one died in the Senate. So there are some bills that have died as this session ends, but the Senate was able to get through many last night, including Bill C-69, which is a controversial bill that overhauls the environmental assessment process for resource projects.
Parliament could be recalled, however, in order to ratify the new North American trade deal. Is that likely to happen?
It's possible, but it's not guaranteed. I think it depends on a few factors. One, it depends on what happens in the United States Congress. Do they ratify their own trade deal? I mean, I don't think Canada would bring Parliament back. The Liberal government would bring Parliament back without the U.S. doing it.
Right.
This also would be, right as the election campaign gets underway. So the Liberal government has to decide if they want to bring the House back for a couple of weeks and sustain question period, for instance, and put Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government in that kind of spotlight and scrutiny. So it depends. It's not guaranteed that they would necessarily do that.
All right, switching gears, let's look at the Ontario cabinet shuffle. That happened yesterday. Premier Doug Ford, we saw him booed at the Raptors rally very recently. His public numbers have taken a bit of a hit. His popularity has taken a hit. This cabinet shuffle was in response to those low numbers. Let us know what happened.
Well, this was a massive cabinet shuffle, bigger than anyone imagined, I think. Only a handful of Doug Ford's cabinet ministers actually maintained their posts. The most significant one, of course, was the demotion of his finance minister, Vic Fedeli, who takes on the trade portfolio now, and he was replaced with Rod Phillips, who performed well as the environment minister. But, essentially, you don't blow up your whole cabinet if things are going well. He is struggling in the polls. As you mentioned, he's facing some boos at public events. So this was, not just a reset, but he's remaking essentially his whole front bench.
Also some interesting portfolio appointments as well, longtime friends.
Yes, so in the midst of this, a couple hours after this major cabinet shakeup where the government is trying to turn the page on the past year, Premier Ford announces 4 new trade appointments, patronage appointments, essentially, to posts in the United States and London. One of these people is a 26-year-old who has ties to his chief of staff and is friends with his chief of staff's sons through lacrosse, so that's raising a lot of eyebrows today.
All right, we will continue to check in on what's changing in the world of politics. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.